Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boom and Bust channel. I'm your host Terry, and today we're going to be going to the film. I want to look at the run defense against Tony Pollard's explosive plays, and a couple, or one of them is just, or two of them are touchdowns. They're not explosives. And then somebody asked me to look at Justin Fields' scrambles. I think we got to most of them actually. He didn't run as much this game on scrambles. And just kind of see what he's looking at downfield and all that, which we've done throughout the year when I've done film, but we're going to pick some of those and kind of see if Justin should be scrambling or not. So with all that being said, let's get into it. All right, so we are going to start with the first play from Tony Pollard. One of his explosive runs, or a big run. Not all of these runs are explosive, meaning 20-yard plus, but I think this one is. But these are big runs. And we'll kind of let it play through from the wide copy because, you know, it doesn't matter that much. But I will go back. This thing's tweaking already to see what we're in. So we're in single high. It looks like we're in nickel. I think that's Gordon, and then the safety's down. So we're in single high, so we got 8 people around the box in this particular play. And we see Mr. Pollard go off. All right, so down on the end zone copy is where we're going to be able to see what's really happening here. So, yeah, that's Kyler Gordon right there. And we got – so they got 2 tight ends. Now, I'm going to tell you already, I don't like this alignment. You got 2 tight ends. I mean, it might not look like it. These guys aren't that big, but, you know, it's 2 tight ends. They are next to some giant humans. But anyway, you got 2 tight ends. And we got our DN lined up at a 7. I don't know why they call it that, but he's head up with this tight end. That is our last man on the line of scrimmage, our LMOS. So that's our last man on the line of scrimmage, is a full player away from their last man on the line of scrimmage. So obviously you got Gordon, who's a nickel defender, who's going to play the alley. So they have 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends, 2 receivers. So the 2 corners on the receivers. Gordon has no receiver to be on, so he's here in the alley. This is his area. So whether he's up on the line or he's back, this is going to be his area. So I get that. Trust me, I do. And then on the other side, we got the edge here. However, especially when you're talking about a cornerback, especially when you're talking about a rookie, the angles are really going to matter. And so I don't love this because we brought down a safety. If we're going to bring down a safety, then at this point we should have Brisker over here and we should have Gordon over there. Either way, still, I don't like this. I don't know if this even is the problem with this play, but I don't like this already schematically how it's set up. All right, so let's kind of go through and see what the play is. So it looks like an inside zone based off their steps. Now he's got a, let me see. Yeah, you could take this a couple ways. I would say inside zone personally, because when you bring in 2 tight ends, the aiming points change a little bit. He's opening up wide. I think because if you go back, that's gonna go back too far. But if you go back, and I don't know why I'm diving so much into this play, but it might just be because typically when you go to a zone, or most people, you want to go to an open B gap. There's no open B gap here. Plus, there's extra gaps because you got 2 extra players. So the aiming point might be a little wider, or this might just be a straight up. This is going to the outside. So you could call this a couple things, but this might just be a straight up C gap play. But either way, They all take a step to the same spot, so it makes me feel like it's inside zone. He cuts off the edge. Okay, so we're on this path. So now Gordon takes the outside, and we'll see what he ends up doing. But he takes the outside. That's what he's supposed to do. Our play side linebacker kind of punches up the gap. That's what he's supposed to do. Then we got backside for the cutback. So now Gordon, he's playing outside, making sure it doesn't bounce in here. The linebacker and the end just get folded. Actually, let me go back. Let's go back a little bit, because I'm trying to see what happened to the defensive end, and I can't tell who that is off. This is 90 something. I think that's Dominique Robinson. All right, so Dominique is over the left tackle. Okay, so I see what happens. So he cuts in, and I have to think that was called. Maybe it wasn't, but I told you during the review, I seen that happen a lot this game, where we were stunting a lot, and we were just making the wrong call. Whatever reason, he stunts inside. So instead of a 2-on-1 between the DN, the tackle, and the tight end up to the linebacker, you now got a free blocker. And so he just took himself out of the play. I don't know if you saw that. He dived inside. Now the tight end is free to go up to the linebacker. And really, Smith passes him off because he gets Robinson gets thrown into the pile. So now Smith is able to help with the linebacker, making sure that they seal him off. And then, of course, Gordon can't do nothing with that tight end. The receiver, one-on-one with the corner. So now Eddie Jackson is left, and Eddie Jackson makes the play. But that's a big play. So I want to go back again. And it seems like it was only Robinson that knifed inside. Now, look, there's some defensive linemen, when they see a zone step, they're going to cut across the grain because they want to try to get under that block and blow it up in the backfield. The problem is, if you take yourself out of the play to the point where you create more space, then that's never going to happen. Now, I don't know if this was called, or I don't know if this was just him. Because I don't know. Because this I don't know who this is. They got so many D linemen, I don't know. This D tackle steps that way too, but this one doesn't. Now, he might just be reacting to the movement, but either way, no wonder they crash, because he's going this way and these two are going that way. And so I don't know. I have to think that was a called play. Either way, we stunted right out of the gap. So there's that. Okay, moving to the next play, which I think is the same drive, and it's the touchdown, I think. Oh, I think this is Dak's touchdown, so I just threw that in there. So this is Dak's touchdown. This is not, I'm going to just let it play so it could go back. All right, so they run a Y lead for the QB. So we start off single high, safety's down, we're in nickel. We see the corner run with the receiver, so it's some type of man coverage, at least for him. Now, they do a lot here. They're going to zone, or not zone, but they're going to jet this guy. Good timing with the handoff. So you already got these two. Plus, this guy's coming back across to lead for Dak Prescott. So there's a lot going on here. And then Vildor's left by himself. He can't make that play. So you probably ask yourself, okay, that was a lot of trickery. We just got tricked. Not really. So what you need to notice is Eddie Jackson. At the snap of the ball, Eddie has blitzed here, and we also got a linebacker blitzing here. So this is a called blitz, and it just happens to go to the opposite side of where the actual run is going. So now you got the read option, which I don't know if they was even really reading them, if he was going to keep it the whole way. But either way, he's the read key, so he's unblocked. And then once he goes, it's just wide open up to Vildor. Now, the problem is, even if he gave this, say he sat, this would have been a nice crease up here too, because we just had Eddie and the linebacker blitz to the other side, plus the jet motions there, so that's pulling them too. But like I said, we had a blitz to the other side. Yeah, these two are creased. He's walking in over Kyler Gordon. So even if he gave it, that's a touchdown. But he keeps it one-on-one. That's a touchdown too. So we could watch it from the end zone copy. But again, what I said during the game, just from the few things I saw, we were blitzing and stunting a lot that first drive. So, you know, it ain't the jet motion. It ain't that, because Gordon was going in motion too. So that meant that Gordon also was in man coverage, which means that Eddie wasn't coming down to man coverage. He was coming down to blitz. So, yeah, everybody just gets, like I said, that's a wide open. That would have been a touchdown. We blitzed right out of the run play. Okay, let's jump to our next, which I think is a Justin Fields play. Okay, let's pause it. Sometimes it works better when you pause it for whatever reason. Okay, yeah, after this, it should be a Justin Fields scramble. So we want to see if Justin should have scrambled. More than likely. Okay, this is big tweaking. All right, so we got kind of a loose play action here from under center. And then we're going to pause it at the top of the drop. All right, so top of the drop, we got 3 receivers out in the route. They got single high, so we're expecting cover 3 man, something like that. So we got 1 running vert. He's caught up. 1 getting ready to either break across the middle or inside. And he's covered. So, again, this looks like man because it also looks like they're blitzing. And then we got another receiver out there against a corner. So I'm not sure what they're running. Oh, okay. This was supposed to be a screen. Okay, because these receivers is blocking. So, all right. So the question is, as far as Justin Fields scrambling, was there something downfield? This was 100%. He should have scrambled. We'll see it from the tight copy. I really don't know why it wants to keep tweaking like that. But, yeah, we see the running back coming. Jones just let way too much penetration come up field because that disrupt the whole timing of it. And, yeah, I mean, you got some blockers there, but it would have been a tough play. And I'm not going to try to mess with this film anymore. Okay, so we're going to go to our next play, which is not too far from this one. So probably a Justin Fields scramble after this is over. Okay. Motioning over the trips. Oh my God. Why is this film doing this? Come on now. We don't have time for this. All right, anyway, so motion over the trips. There's a rollout. So on the plant, I don't know what's happening here. We got 1 out breaking route. We got 1 route coming across. Obviously, these 2 got jammed up. Okay. So it's man coverage. We know that much. So whenever it's man coverage, we're going to be expecting a potential scramble. All right, so looks like Mooney was jetting across out to the flat. Then EQ was working inside, bending out to a corner. And then Komet was working inside and then bending out to a post. And then backside looks like a dig. Now these two got rerouted. Their whole thing's kind of thrown off. So in terms of man coverage, they're covered. You got something to the flat that you could get Mooney on the run. I don't know why I just did that. What I want to see, actually, we might not see it from the tight. I want to see backside if this was open before Fields scrambled. And it's actually just a drag. It's not even a slant. He just right off the line. And I'm assuming he could have hit him. I'm assuming, especially if you lead him. And that's one of those things where, as a quarterback and receiver, you got to have that next level chemistry and to understand. Because obviously you don't want to throw it here towards the linebackers. They're staring dead at Fields waiting for him to scramble. You got nothing but open space. I think you can hit him. Now you can see Fields is staring at the trips, waiting for something to open up. But, you got to know your backside. So by the time he brings his head back, there's pressure in his face. I mean, he probably still could have made that throw, but, he does the Justin Fields thing and takes off. And I don't think he took off that much this game comparatively. So, again, obviously it's a rollout, but or it's a sprint out. So the difference with a sprint out, I mean, a rollout, you could have a plant point too, obviously. But with a sprint out, it's much easier to plant and look backside. And he clearly has a plant point. He's not full sprinting. So, again, his eyes are there. Now, why? I mean, it's a sprint out, so I guess, you leave backside. But they left backside. I don't know if I would have did that, especially when you got the running back. So, I don't know. But, yeah. I think there was a pass to be made, but I'm not, real upset at him scrambling. Okay. Let's skip ahead. See if, it's going to be a Cowboys run. So this is a touchdown run by Pollard. Looks like they have two tight ends. So we're in 22 personnel, and we bring in CeeDee Lamb short. So we're really tight. Yeah. This film does not like the wide copy. Either way, we are single high. Looks like we have three linebackers, I think. Is Gordon not in on two corners anymore? Anyway. Wait. One of them has to be Brisker because we got somebody down here. So anyway, we're single high, so we got 8 in the box. And then there's no receivers, so technically you could say we got 9, then they brings in one more, you got 10. So really you could say this is 10 on 10. And they get a little cutback. Eddie gets his ankles broken, and it's a touchdown. So we're going to go to the end zone view to see exactly what happened. Now already, once again, I know that's a little blurry. Once again, I don't quite understand the alignment. The alignment more than likely is set up for a blitz. Let's see if that clears up. It's not. Well, anyway. So we have a 3 tech. We got a 1 tech. We got pretty much a 7 and another 7. Okay. So at this point, when you got this 7, it's going to be a 2 gapper, but you still got outside help because there's no receiver. You got the A gap, so 45 should have the B gap. So 53 should have the other A gap, B gap. Now, this is the difference when you got this many people in the box. Roquan doesn't have a gap. I think, obviously, what they're thinking, All right, we bring Brisker down, and he's got, we got an extra play on that edge. So we're going to put more people to the right side, which doesn't really make sense because you also got Vildor here. So I don't know. I just think you spread these gaps out a little more. I don't like this because this is pretty much an overload. So we'll see how that plays into it. So they're going to do an inside zone. Pretty much. I wouldn't even say an inside zone. This is more like a blast. Because they're coming to this open B gap, essentially. You got the kick out here. I'm sure CD was supposed to kick him out. You got the double here. You got the double here. You got the double here. So they're going to be looking for the next level. This double team's coming for the weak side. Looks like Martin is getting off his block. Now, again, you got two people for this gap. So what ends up happening? Two people over pursue. The double team peels off and washes Roquan down into the gap where he's supposed to be. And then they cut back to the same gap. Now, this is rare. This is rare because you just do not have this alignment too often. Essentially, he just went back to the same gap. Now the gap is moving, obviously, because they're moving, but he just went back to the same gap. Roquan's going to feel the A gap, get washed in the A gap, and Pollard's going to be able to cut back to the A gap. And again, you got two linebackers. Because look at this. Look at where Vildor is. None of this makes sense. These three should not be this close. Vildor, you're the force. That means you're the last guy, so you should be forcing it inside. There's no receiver. The only step you should have had once his contact is up here. Outside shoulder, completely moving this guy out the way. Then Joe Thomas is able to completely play anything in here, and then 53 is able to play here. You could then bottle it up. But right now, they overcommit to the play side. It's a cutback to the backside. Nobody's off their blocks. 90 is down the field, pent up. You almost get a play by Gibson. I think that was Gibson. Who gets off his block late, and then Eddie Jackson just completely got his ankles broke. So, again, you look at the alignment, and I didn't even see the play yet, and I'm just like, I don't like the way this looks. So I don't know who 90 is. He didn't get off a block at all. Gibson barely got off a block. I mean, that's what happens when we talk about changing the math as far as defense. All right, so we're going to skip ahead again. Think this is going to be a Bears play. Tony Pollard really didn't have that many, chunk gains. He just, he had a couple that were big, of course, but he just kind of put them together and had that game, or the 54-yard one put him over the top. Okay, so we got trips, motion back to trips. They got single high. Corners are, this corner's pressed up. Interesting. Sometimes corners just like to play differently. But he's pressed up too, so you might be thinking man. They play a good amount of man coverage. Oh my God. Okay, anyway, we're going to pause here because the film didn't want to work, but also we're kind of at the top of the drop. So we got a flat route coming out. That's behind him. He's not even looking. We got an in-breaking route coming across the wide open middle. Looks like we're having a curl or something coming back towards him on the outside. That's manned up. And might be the same thing over here. Yeah. Mooney was wide open. Now I'm trying to see this play a little more fluid to see what happened. So they are in man coverage. They send 4. We're at the top of the drop. There is some pressure. And Yeah, you know what? I mean, I'm guessing because he saw this defender. He said he didn't want to run and try to, or he didn't think he could outrun him. So then he went back and cut back. That's my guess. But either way, he starts out this way and then cuts back the other way. Now, if he stayed this way, you put him in conflict. This is wide open. But Justin Fields doing Justin Fields things. Anthony Barr is not a young man anymore, and so he outruns him to the edge and turns it to a gain. So that's Riley Reef, I believe. Oh, don't do it to me. It's going to do it to me. I just wish it would just be clean. All right, so he gets a pretty good step. His hands is on his knees. Don't like that. So the defender already has his hands on him before his hands are even up. That's a bad sign. Makes good contact, but he doesn't get low enough. Whoever that is just rides underneath them. So like I said, Fields sees the pressure. He steps up. I mean, he sees this guy, but he could have outran him in my opinion. But he turns it. Actually, that's a good question. Let's see from a closer view if he could have got out of that. Because that might have been the reason. All right, so at this point, he steps up. Yeah, I mean, looking at, come on, that's Justin Fields. He could that guy's not an issue. He could scramble this way, put him in conflict, and then go to Mooney, but he doesn't. That simple as that. Went back, outran Anthony Barr. That one I'm going to put against Justin Fields. But again, he's used to something. And this is why, you know, we could cheer on those plays, but there's bigger plays to be had. Uh, 44-10. I'm not sure what's happening here. Oh, I just wanted to throw this in here. This scares me. This is the 2-point conversion when he gets laid out. You ain't even got to see it from the wide angle. Let's see it from the close angle. This scares me because when you talk about his pocket presence and everything, like, yes, once he starts feeling or not feeling, but like pressure gets around him, we know that it's not like, oh, I know exactly where to run. He's looking around for where he can run. There's a difference. And so this play kind of makes me feel that way as far as him understanding pressure. I'll just let it play. That's not good. That's not good for your starting quarterback. Now, I know y'all going to say, well, he was looking to the left. Bro, it does not matter. Look how close he is. I couldn't pause it. Look how close DeMarcus Lawrence is. This is the end zone, man, or the red zone. Like, he ain't that far away from you. It's only a few yards. I mean, he's looking left, but boy, you talk about not sensing pressure at all. Like, he didn't even wink and got torn up. That scares me. That scares me because that is easier to sense than being in the pocket with a real pass rush. A free runner, and that wasn't even your blind side. So your peripheral, you couldn't see that? That worries me. All right, so we're going to go to the next Tony Pollard run, which is a touchdown. Again, not a big play. But as you can see again, this time, no, we're not in nickel. Kyler Gordon's just in, but still, I mean, they're in 22. The receiver's bumped out, so it's 9 in the box instead of 10. Yeah, it skipped a little. Eddie Jackson got ran over. I'm just playing. Eddie's been playing better this year, but all right. So let's see what we got. Now the alignment looks a little more traditional here. Brisker's up, but he's not on the line. So we got a 7 and a 7. So right now, Gordon and Brisker are the extra alley guys, because you don't need to fight outside. You got a guy outside. So really, it's a 2 gap, but you need to be cheating inside for both of these ends. You got a B gap here. You got A gap here. What I would assume is A gap for Morrow, A gap D tackle. Roquan has the back C gap. And then this guy has this B gap. And then, like I said, the ends are kind of two-way players. So let's see what happens. So again, it's kind of a blast. They're going to the open B gap. I love a good blast. That sounded bad. But anyway, you're going to have the combo up. Combo up. Looks like they cut on the backside. And they actually comboed to the play side too. So we get here. I mean, Morrow scrapes over. The A gap's kind of collapsed. Yeah, so here's the problem. Here's the problem. Your backside, your B gap player, backside got washed. But anyway, so now we got 2 linebackers in this gap. So if we got 2 there, that means 1 is no longer there. Cut back, and then he just, Eddie Jackson didn't get trucked. He did get a move put on him, but Roquan tackled him, but it was too late. All right, so this hits in the backside B gap, and the gaps move essentially kind of the A gap. So between these 2 players, somebody should have had that. All right, so he's in the backside B gap right now. Well, you really could call it the backside A gap, which is Morrow. And so Morrow scraping over, so is Roquan. So we're not bad there. Yeah, it's the backside B gap. This guy needed to be here, this D tackle. That's essentially what it was. And we'll watch it. These can be tricky when they get on the move, I know. He starts off in the B gap, but we'll see. Yeah, Smith steps down. This is Jones. Justin Jones. Smith blocks down. You need to fight. You need to stay in this gap. Oh, man. We had it. Whoever the left guard is pushes Jones back. So Jones steps. He gets pushed back off the chip pretty hard. And instead of fighting to get back in this B gap, he stays out of his gap. And that essentially leaves it open. Now, again, that causes the first cutback. That gets everybody planted. Then there's the second cutback. And by that time, you just gain too many yards. So, gap integrity. Because at this point, yes, he has this A gap. Roquan has this backside gap with 2 extra defenders. So if the play moves this way, Roquan can move over. That's fine. We got these guys on the back. And that means Roquan could go down, so can Morrow. But this guy can't get out of his gap, because if these 2 go down and you come this way, well, now we got a hole. So that's what happened on that play. Now we got 2 more plays and we out of here. I believe, yeah, this is a Pollard play or a Cowboys play, somebody play. And this is 40, so not this one, the next one. Okay. So we got 2 tight ends. We got 12 personnel with a slot. We got 3. We're in base personnel, I believe. Yeah, Gordon's on the outside. We bump a linebacker out to apex, single high, so somebody's down in the box. So we got 8 in the box, but there's no receiver to this side, and we leave him, so we got an extra defender here. So instead of bringing Gordon over, we just bump the linebacker out. So now Gordon's part of the run fit. Oh my God. All right, we're just gonna go to the tight. All right, so it looks like some type of zone, and it was a cutback, as all of these have been. And they're tight too. You can see his foot behind his heel. They're not even spacing this out. They're crunching it in. All right, so we got our edge player. We got our 1 tech, 3 tech, and then we have a 7 tech. 7, 9. I can't remember. I don't know. I hate the numbering because once it gets to tight end, no, because the wide 9 is outside. So it's 7 tech. Anyway, so this is Gordon. So Gordon's going to be on this outside. Again, kind of a two-way go here because you got what I call a ghost gap. So you got it's kind of a two-way go, but that's Brisker. That's also in the alley to kind of clean that up. You have a B gap here. So you got A gap there, A gap, B gap, outside gap. So that's our fit. So now we zone weak. We zone away from the 2 tight ends. Oh my God. Come on. We had a good pitcher. Already we got linebackers out of space. So they moved down once again. Why, I don't know. So it looks like they might be slanting. So they slanted the D-line, I think, and then scraped the linebackers. But we got caught going the wrong way. It happened this game. I told you. So they scraped to the right. Play went to the left. So now they're out of they're not out of pocket, but they're out of fit, and so they're going to try to chase back. So now the linebacker's chasing back, and Roquan did a good job. He didn't scrape over the top. He played cutback. So this linebacker's trying to chase to get back to his B gap. And then we got this A gap player still fighting. Now we got everybody down. I think Roquan just got picked off. Let's see. Look like Roquan just got picked off coming backside by the backside tackle, which, so yeah, he kind of chipped here. Saw Roquan, which again, this is where the play hits, so he's in the right spot, but still just pins him. Puts his butt to the play, as all good linemen should do in a run game, and gives him an open space. So Steele turns around and pins him. And we got the backside DN cutting down, which is good because we got 2 defenders to the outside. But he just didn't get there quick enough. Actually, he missed, and Pollard just exploded. Let me see if I could go through one time clean so you can see it. This is part good offensive line play, part good running back play. And the other part is the D-line is just not equipped to get off the blocks. I've said it once. I've said it a million times. Because, look, I mean, the O-line's good. Don't get me wrong. Most defensive tackles ain't getting off of that. But if you were able to get those guys off of those interior blocks, you know, that play is a whole different thing. That's why defensive tackle, most valuable position. Don't let them lie to you. Do not let them lie to you. So this is the 54-yarder. Eddie Jackson's down. Everybody's in the box. So what do they have? Looks like they got 3 tight ends. Or extra linemen at least. So they got 3. So ace pair. We got 1 solo receiver. So everybody's down in the box. We got, looks like a corner on the edge. And they pull, pretty much do power. 54 to the crib. I know it's choppy, but that don't matter. We'll get to the tight. Okay, so how are we living with this? First of all, okay, this makes no sense. I'm sorry. It makes no sense. You have a free, not a free safety, but a safety that's free from anybody. The corner has the receiver. He has nothing. So he's the alley player. Why do you also have a overhang linebacker in the alley? To the weak side, there's 3 extra people here, and we have somebody on the weak side. Makes no sense. So now the force players, Jalen Johnson, a corner. We got essentially you can't technically call it a 9 technique, but he's outside of the tight end. And then we got a 1 tech, 3 tech, and a 4 tech. So obviously you got a huge gap right here because your other linebackers on the overhang. You only got 2 linebackers here. So now you got, I guess he's going to play the B gap, C gap, A gap linebacker, B gap, and then he's going to be here, which is fine, but you don't need this C gap player when you got the alley. So anyway, we got extra people, or they got extra people to one side. And so they pull a guard, which makes it now another extra person. Now, this probably is a little bit of a hole because able to block him down would be hard. But, yeah, I would say he held. He kind of spent them. But anyway, that was definitely the play. So now we're power. All of this is cracking down to the second level. The power's coming across for this corner, and he's just going to follow him. He's going to follow him. That didn't go clean. And he's gone. Man, why does it... Okay, can you, play cleanly, please? So we can see. Because Justin's... he's in this B gap. And he does a good swim outside, so you could definitely say that was not good. But, shoot, with Eddie, with Morrow... Pollard just outran him. And then, of course, that was a missed tackle. So, yeah, you got a couple things there. You definitely probably could call that. It's hard to say it's a hold because he really just turned them. But I think loosely you could, if you wanted to call that a hold, you could. But either way, I don't know if Morrow or Roquan got there first. But either way, you had that. Yeah, that was Roquan. Roquan and Eddie just got outran to the edge. And then it was just a missed tackle. And the rest is speed. Okay, so that's it for us. So a couple things, like I said, you had a couple, and in some of the other plays too, you had just run blitzes or just blitzes or stunts in general that they called us. Now, who knows if they knew it or if they got lucky. Sometimes both happens, but we just got caught out of space. And then we also had some times where we just didn't have good run integrity. But overall, we don't have the D linemen getting off the ball. Off the block. See, that last play was a good example. Had Justin Jones cleanly got off that, or if they called a hold or whatever, that blows the whole play up. And that's why you need guys that's what, at least D-line coach-wise, I use that phrase, change the math. And they're going to draw it up and say, okay, this person takes this person, but the job of the D-line is to change the math. And the whole point of that, it means get off blocks. So without guys like that can consistently do that, it's not even that you got to fly in the backfield, but if you get off a block, that completely changes a run play. Now, without Roquan Smith, I don't expect this issue to get any better, but there's that. And then as far as Justin Fields, like I say, he didn't run as much this game, and if you had to ask me, it'd be the same answer I've been telling you all year. Sometimes it's the receivers or the play call, the receivers not open. Sometimes it's the pressure. Sometimes it's Justin Fields just not seeing it and taking off. So I don't think it's one thing. Never said it was. It's a mixed bag of all of that. So anyway, go down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Share it around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.